strange, unique. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mouth here with another edition of Slip Through the Cracks. But before we get to today's record, I just wanted to show you the progress on my alien egg. As you can see, it's starting to emerge from its shell. What will it be? What will it look like? What planet will it be from? So many questions. Yes, so many questions. Mysterion is not the only one with oddities in a jar. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we must set that aside. The answers are not ready to be revealed, but they will be. So let's carry on with today's record. Certainly, a segue from an alien egg to this record might seem weird at first, but not really when you think about it. You know, when you look at the history of music, it's always been about innovation. It's always about keeping things fresh. You know, it's commonly said in rock and roll that there's only three chords. Oh no, three mouth. There's only three chords, and that you can only play with them so many different ways. And I think one of the best things about technology is that it has encouraged people to be more innovative and to play around with different sounds and hybrids and types of music, because we have so many distinct types of music now that it's amazing to see which ones work together and which ones don't, because some will work out together absolutely fabulously. Others, you kind of, not so sure whether that experiment worked or not. And today is one of those records that makes you kind of think both. It's working and it's not working. I'll show you the cover right here. The album is called Brown Rain by Victor Brady. Now, what do you think when you see that cover? You know, here's a guy predominantly featured in the front, so you think he must be Victor Brady. He's got a giant calypso steel drum there, and then I would have guessed that's the rest of the band behind him. So, is this a calypso record? Is it a rock record? Is it a rock calypso record? I mean, very hard to tell. A regular calypso record would probably feature the entire band in matching outfits with a whole set of steel drums, probably shot in an island setting or a tropical setting with palm trees. This looks a tad more intense. I mean, look at the look on Victor Brady's face. This guy looks upset, or at least he's got something to say. So what we do have here, in fact, is kind of what the cover really does say. It's a rock calypso record. Now, this is one of those ones that really has slipped through the cracks, and I've been able to find very little information about it. There's some very tiny little paragraph of liner notes here on the back, which you can see right there. Kind of funny, actually, because they're all written in one kind of continuous sentence, the way people kind of write on Twitter and stuff nowadays. But it basically just says, Victor Brady was discovered playing the steel drums in the park by the head of Polydor, because see, the record's on Polydor. So it's not like it's on some small little budget label. This was released by a major label, and apparently the head of Polydor saw this guy and said, hey, put a band together and we'll put your record out. So what we have here is a really unique blend of kind of Steppenwolf, kind of greasy biker rock, lots of really great fuzzy, scuzzy guitar on this. But then you've also got him playing the steel drum on it all the time. It's like you've got guitar, bass, and drums, and it's like instead of getting a keyboard player or another guitar player, they've got Victor Brady doing the steel drum. So it's pretty awesome record, really. It's pretty weird, that's for sure, because it's the psychedelic era. This record came out around 1970, and yet it's got all this steel drum on it. And I'm just astounded by it. It's a very strange sound. It takes a little bit to get used to, especially because they have the steel drum so prominent in the mix. And a lot of times, if you listen to calypso music, the steel drum is almost kind of like a lead instrument. So on a lot of these tracks, the steel drum is competing with the electric guitar. Like on certain tracks, you'll have both of them kind of dueling it out at the same time. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But it really does make for a pretty unique record. And I have to say, it's a collision of sound that you've probably never heard anywhere else before. Now, on top of that, to go along with this weird concept of like biker rock band mixed with steel drums, the lyrics. We have to talk about some of the lyrics on this record. Again, written in that, kind of psychedelic period there. And some of the lyrics on this record, if you can get past the steel drum and you listen to some of the lyrics, some of them will really blow your mind. I actually went through some of the songs and took some notes here. One of the songs on side one has the very, psychedelic title of Hallucino Dream. You can just imagine. Well, this one has all your kind of classic cornball, kind of stereotypical psychedelic lyrics. He talks about tangerine-colored forests, peppermint skies, floating through galaxies of popcorn. Can you imagine that? Galaxies of popcorn. And very, very strange. This is kind of, I think, trying to be the blatant psychedelic song on the record. And as such, the drums actually kind of work in this one. They actually enhance these kind of crazy lyrics, though. But I can't get over it through floating through the galaxies of popcorn. And then there's another great tune on here called Once Upon a Candle. And this is where you get maybe a little bit more insight into who Victor Brady might have been as a person. This track and one of the tracks on the other side, second side, definitely got an Eric Burdon vibe. If you're familiar with Eric Burdon's later stuff, after he broke up the original Animals, the stuff he did in the late 60s, like San Franciscan Nights, Winds of Change, Monterey, songs like that, that's what Victor Brady kind of sounds like on this one, man. And delivering some of these, picture some of these lines being delivered in an Eric Burdon kind of style. You will see your shadow even when the light is gone. Heavy, man. Let your soul take you flying through invisible dimensions. Try to feel the pain of your mother ready to give birth. That one, I don't really even know where that one comes from. It really doesn't fit in with the rest of the song. And this is a great one. This one makes me laugh out loud. Look at your nude body in every position and laugh and cry and sing. And then the very end of the song, Once Upon a Candle, make love, don't search for it. I guess that seems fair enough. Maybe good advice for Donald Trump in this day and age. And then we get to side two. Side two is just two pretty big long tracks. The first one is the title track for the record, Brown Rain. And this one, this one is one of the ones where it has wailing lead guitar all the way through it. And then it's also got crazy weird steel drum right beside it. So as a bit of a guitar freak, and I want to hear more of the fuzz guitar rather than the steel drums on this one. But I'll leave it up to you to judge when you get a chance to listen to it. But here's some lines from this one as well. A symphony of water fell just for you. I guess the steel drum in this is supposed to be like raindrops, because he talks a lot about raindrops in this one. Falling on your bed, falling from your head. The brown rain. He keeps going on about the brown rain, the brown rain. And then at the end here, I'm sorry, makes me laugh. Rain, rain, go away. Come again when the time is right. It could be tomorrow night. Yes, don't rain tonight. How about tomorrow night? Pretty bizarre. And that's mixed in with like 11 minutes of wailing guitar, drums, and steel drums. And then the last track on the record is called It's a Good World Outside. Again, this is another one with really reminded me of the Eric Burdon style of delivery. And this is one of those classic 60s kind of tunes where they're trying to say, get outside your body, get outside your ego, and experience the world around you, and don't get trapped up on your own personal trip, man. That's what's going down on this one. So he tells us, yes, to get outside ourselves. And this line I love, don't let anyone tell you about you before you. Hey, you might think, weird tongue twister, but no, think about it. Don't let anyone tell you about you before you. There you go. Some great advice there. And then at the end here, he has some really, really, really crazies. If you wait for another man's opinion, he will ruin your conception. Get outside and dig your face now. And this is the very last line of the song, and I don't get it at all. He goes, throw a rock at yourself. You deserve it. So, wow. Pretty crazy record, man. Victor Brady, steel drum mixed with some, Steppenwolf style rock and roll going on here. And I just found this record to be absolutely amazing. I've put some links in the description box below this video where you guys can check it out for yourselves. Please, by all means, you have to check this record out. You have to check this out. And before I go, one other little thing here I'm going to mention quickly. See this little sticker here on the record? Vinyl Museum. Peter Dunn's Vinyl Museum. Records, records, records. You won't find this on compact disc, Toronto Clearwater. That's what it says on the sticker. And the Vinyl Museum used to be one of the most amazing record stores in all of Toronto. There was 3 of them at one point. The stores were actually started in Clearwater, Florida, when 2 brothers, Pete and Jim Dunn, went down. One of them stayed in Florida, and then Pete came back to Toronto, and he set up the vast Vinyl Museum empire. And that was one of his big things when CDs came out, that he had the records that you're not going to find on CD. Well, this one you can get on CD, but it's only been within the last 3 years. I believe 2014, this finally came out on CD. But the Vinyl Museum, for guys like me, many of the records in my collection were scored there. It was a great place to go. It was literally mountains and mountains of records. And this was back at a time when he wasn't really worried about, charging exorbitant prices. You could go in there and get neat stuff. I paid $3.99 for this record. $3.99 for this classic. And it's brought me so much fun through the years. And the other weird thing about the Vinyl Museum, I'm sure if you ever shopped there back in the day, is that at some point Peter Dunn went religious, and he used to put on the inside sleeves of the records, or even sometimes stamped right on the jackets, he had all these Bible verses. Like, if we look at the sleeve that came with my copy here of this, you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not. Am I holding that upside down? If you can see that there's a Bible verse there. All right, stamped right on the envelope. And it's from 1 Peter 3:18. I'm not going to bother reading it, but that's how far the guy went. He was trying. I always thought it was really weird that the guys selling rock and roll records and popular music always considered, be evil by many of the hardcore religious groups, certainly Baptists and stuff like that, very anti-rock and roll. But I thought, he's going to make all his money selling these evil rock and roll records. So I don't know, maybe did he feel guilty, or did he feel that, was he that convinced by Christianity that he needed to put that? He felt he needed to convert the rest of us. I don't know. That was always one of the neat little things about the Vinyl Museum, is that you found great records, but you also got a little preaching thrown in there on the side. And not like he would hit you over the head or attack you in the store. You just get the record home, and then you'd open up the sleeve, and there'd be like 2 or 3 Bible verses on the inside sleeve. I thought that was pretty hilarious. Unfortunately, Peter Dunn got out of the business altogether. He closed his final shop. Apparently, there's a record store north of the city that contains a lot of what was once left over from Peter Dunn's Vinyl Museum. I'm not sure if that's true or not, or where that would be. But the Vinyl Museum was a great place, and one of the few places you'd ever find a record like Victor Brady, Brown Rain, Calypso, steel drums added to Steppenwolf style rock and roll. You gotta check it out. So check out the links in the description box below. Check me out on Instagram. It's Dr. Mouth. Please subscribe to this channel. Watch the videos, and we're all gonna have a great time. And get out your steel drums, get out your electric guitar, and see if you can't make your own Brown Rain. All right, I am the Mouth. I'm out of here, and I thank you for watching.